Well, if you translate the word duty in Sanskrit, it becomes dharma. But what is dharma itself? That's the question. People every day go through life, they say, yes, I'm doing my duty. No? Duty doesn't mean only the aspect of what you're doing outside. Now, very often people think, okay, yes, that's my dharma, I have to do. It's true. Your duty, what have been allocated to you in the outside, it is part of the dharma. Because everybody have to enjoy what have been given to them. This is the first thing that you have to do. You know, very often people go on the spiritual path, they say, yeah, I have heard that I have to do my dharma. I have to do my higher dharma. Very often people say, yes, okay. No, you see that very often in the spiritual path. They stop doing their work, look for their dharma. And this is the most foolish thing people do. Not realizing that actually what that means is enjoy what God have given you at the precise moment. If you can't accept that precise moment as your dharma, what are you looking for? You will never be able to do really the dharma of being a human being. You will never be able to do your dharma why you have come on earth. You will never be able to do your dharma in life itself. Because the first duty itself, you are throwing it by the window. Very often you will notice that people, when they say, oh, you know, I'm spiritual, I have to quit my job. I have to stop this work. I have to stop that. No. Actually, when Bhagavan Krishna talk of dharma, on the battlefield, you know, he talk about the highest dharma. But till the point where he take Arjun and make him realize that the highest dharma is in everything that you are doing. That's called karma yoga. But the step by step where he take him, that's why the Bhagavad Gita, you see, is a song of love. Because it takes you on a journey. It's not an outside journey. He takes you from what you have on the outside, make you realize that God is present in whatever you are doing. That's what Mahavtar Babaji called Atma Kriya. You know? In everything that you do, it is infused with the love of God. And everything that you do, you are doing it for a higher purpose itself. But of course, you don't perceive it in that way. Because in your mind, you have already created a certain reality of what a higher purpose must be, which you don't even know about. Which you think it must be like this. You know, everybody thinks of a heaven, you know. When you talk of a higher duty, everybody think of a fantasy heaven, which is written in a book. You know? So everybody have this fantasy. But the dharma also must be the same way. Everything perfect, everything good. But you can't even handle what God have given you here. How would you handle something which is beyond your reach with your mind? So dharma is very important to understand, you know. And very important to accept in whatever field God have put you. And there is no wrong into it. Don't think that by quitting one job and running to next job, that will lead you. No, learn to accept and find the divine in whatever duty He have given you now. That's why it said, but each one have their own dharma. You see, if each person have their own duty in life. Those who have taken a path of grihastha, they have the duty in grihastha, which means married life. Those who have taken duty in renouncing the world, you know, take sannyas, they have another duty. But duty is what is allocated to you at the precise moment itself. And that's what is dharma, to accept now what you're doing. I'm not talking about the past, I'm not talking about for the future. Past and future is irrelevant, you know. It's gone, you can't change anything. What will be? It depends on now itself. If you want to change something, you want to change yourself firstly, it's only in the present moment that can be done. And that is, this also dharma is the same, you know. Dharma is like that. You have to learn to accept whatever I have given you. The moment you accept that, you know, which means you will start loving everything you're doing, you know, as work is worship. You know this saying, no? Work is worship. No, worship doesn't mean only to sit and pray, but every action of yours is a prayer. That's what Atma Kriya stands for also. But every moment you're absorbed into that blissful state, you're absorbed into that love, you're absorbed in and enjoy what you're doing. Because rejecting that, meaning you are breaking, you know, that's why many people you will see, notice that, but very often spiritual people, when they become spiritual, you know, when they so-called spiritual, you know, they, very often they are miserable. Even after changing in 10 jobs, they're still miserable. They're still unhappy. Why they didn't change? Because they didn't learn to accept what God have given them at the precise moment. Because in the mind, you see, to do God's job means I should quit my job and do something fantasy. I have to become healer, I have to become, name some, therapist, you know, I have to become, you know, yeah, you know, many fantasy things. No, that's what they call the dharma. Dharma is now, you know. Accept, learn to accept. That will, of course, will alter and will change. For example, if you're not doing, you know, that dharma what you're doing, let's say you're doing a certain job, yet it will not bring you to that higher dharma, you can't accept that job now, but you're doing it. That job is bringing you your money to live, no? That job is bringing you food for you to live, looking after, giving you a place to stay. If you can't accept that, how would you handle later on? That itself will transform, you know. The first thing what you have to do is learn to love your duty which God have given you. The moment you start loving, if it is not meant to lead you there, itself it will transform. So, in short, that's karma yoga. And that's the dharma itself. That's what Bhagavan Krishna said in the Gita, you know. When Arjun was standing in the battlefield, you know, he didn't tell Arjun, run away. Please pack your luggage. Let's drive out. No? But in reality, he bring him in the middle of the field. Then he can observe both sides. Middle of the field meaning be on a neutral state. When you come to that neutral state, your mind can perceive the right and the wrong without any judgment. Here, you see very often when we see the right and the wrong, we have so much our judgment, our own perception of things. No? That here Bhagavan said, no, be on that neutral state. When you're on that neutral state, only you can take the right decision. But if you're not on that on that neutral state of mind, then of course, then you already decide. If you decide right or wrong, there's always a judgment in things. You know? Here Bhagavan said, no, you should not judge it, but you should perceive, look at it, analyze it, see the difference, and take the decision. So he brought him in the middle of the field, no? And then he didn't tell him, yes, okay, now that you have seen both, this is good side, this is bad side. Let's decide which one you want. Arjuna said, no, I don't want to fight. I want to, these are my good people, my friend, my relatives. These are my brothers, How can I fight them? And Bhagavan said, no. Look at the duty, You're standing at that point, you have to look, no? These people, what you see is not what you see, truly. So, what is this? What he's saying right now is that on that neutral spot where you can notice, which means daily analyzing of life itself is very important. To analyze yourself, You're not judging yourself, but you're analyzing yourself to get better. Bhagavan said, no, if you do your duty, which means here he's standing on the battlefield, you have to fight, no? He said, do your duty, fight. But he said, if you fight, you will go to hell. Yeah, Bhagavan Krishna said, if you fight, you will go to hell. But if you don't do your duty, as a warrior, Kshatriya, if you don't do your duty, you run away, you're a coward. If you run away like a coward, this also you will go to hell. No chance. You go left, you go to hell. You go right, you go to hell. For both ways you will go to hell. But here you can't not run away, you can't not do your duty. You must do your duty. Actually, what to do? A big dilemma, eh? And this is the point where Bhagavan Krishna revealed to Arjuna and said, listen, do your duty, but let that mind, which is constantly in judgment, that mind which is always running left, right, said, don't let it run. Don't let that mind run left or right. Don't let it run in the good or the bad. But let the mind be upon me. Let that mind be focused upon the Supreme. Let it be focused upon me. And do your duty. Which means I am beyond karma. I am beyond this creation. The whole creation happened by my will. Not by me, but by my will itself. I have nothing to do with that, but the will did it. No? That's why I said, the whole creation is in me, but I am not in the whole creation. Because it's secondary. Everything is secondary. You long for secondary things? Yes, you will get secondary. For lives and lives and lives. You will attain that. I said, no, let that mind be focused upon me, which is the Supreme. If you focus your mind on attaining the Supreme, that is the true dharma of your soul itself. Which means whatever you do, you will perceive only the Supreme reality. So here Bhagavan is saying also in life itself, you should go through life, by knowing that all of you have a higher dharma in life. But higher dharma doesn't mean that to run away from your daily duty. Firstly, learn to accept your daily duty. And that will lead you out of this delusion which the mind have created